All right. Hello, world. Podler team back at it again, doing some more track 2 voicing, where we focus on the various principles of Podler theory. We're now on the higher theory section. We're into spirit forming, elevator of enlightenment, and we're just go ahead and keep on trucking. The particular patch we're working now is the other. So, Ben, what is the other? What rituals are associated with the other? How does it relate to the other major spirit forms in terms of energy and authority?
All right. So, all right. The other is the unconscious spirit form everyone has that acts as the personified muse of a person's unconscious genius, that which complements and completes the chosen one. Rituals associated with the other include longing, challenge, passion, and union. Everyone's other is unique, but it is always heavily influenced by the highly inspirational unconscious momentum powers. The other is much more energetically powerful than the Mazu apparatus or Daryu, but it is still beholden to the righteous authority of the apparatus, as the other is meant to bring fulfillment and union of opposites when the apparatus is properly enacting its role as the chosen one.
Cool. So any questions, let me know. Other than that, good when you're ready.
So the other is the unconscious muse that everyone has that acts, right, it's the unconscious muse that everyone has that complements and completes the chosen one. The rituals associated with the other are longing, challenge, passion, and union. The other is more powerful than the apparatus, the Mazout, and the Daryu, but is still beholden to the righteous authority of the chosen one. Pretty much got it.
All right, Mitchell.
And is the apparatus more powerful than the Mazu? Or is the Mazu?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting because oh yeah, that makes sense. So
but
it's,
as mentioned, the Mazout can be greatly augmented, enhanced, or strengthened by the environment backing it up. So if you are resisting the call of, say, the role of doctor, for example,
Mhm.
The apparatus can much more easily do that when the mazout of doctor is not being charged. So most of the time you're out fishing or hanging out with family and you're like, I'm me, I'm not doctor, right? But if you are in the hospital during work hours as a doctor, your doctor mazout will get a massive charge from that. And that can be more challenging to do. You may need to get higher spirit forms to help you out, use your authority.
I see. Interesting. Yeah, it's cool because like it's interesting because the mazout is it's the first of the Elver spirit forms, right? So, but it's the only one that has less power than the apparatus.
Right. That's because it's the body and so forth and manifestations of it in the world, which you control, free will. You control that unless the world
Right.
is pressing in a certain way, then you're actually resisting the mazout being the conduit of the world.
Right.
But as its own, it's kind of like the mazout.
Because you're like you're like the interface between the world and your spirits. I mean, you kind of have to have more power than the mazout because
exactly.
the
The mazout
mazout,
are kind of like your suits. So they were generally created by you.
Yeah.
That's a good point. The mazout, the process of the mazout, that came with you. You're born with
It's like a subclassification of yourself essentially. I mean, it's like I don't know.
they're like specialized, modes that you have, and you created those modes. So whereas the like I said, the process of the mazout came with you when you were born, but all the various forms of it that you currently have, they were learned. They were learned this time around. Whereas the Daryu, the Other, and the Fumasta have a lot of evolved programming that's way beyond, our pay grade, so to speak. And so they came here with that. So they have greater power in that way. Whereas the mazout, its power comes from the fact that the apparatus created that mode, and that the world supports it. That's where it gets its power from.
Yeah.
But the other three, they're sort of in the hardwiring.
That makes sense.
Mitchell? Okay, so I think we lost Mitchell. Do you want to? What's that?
Oh, I was just asking Mitchell's there.
He's not responding though. Mitchell?
I'm there.
Oh, you are there. Oh, you still processing the beat?
That's right.
Okay, cool. I called out before, I think once or twice, and I didn't hear. Maybe I didn't do it loud enough.
I think Mitchell was away from his keyboard at that moment.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because I just there's like a sound that happens every time he comes back, and I heard it right before he started talking.
Right. So the other is an unconscious spirit form that everyone has, which acts as a personified muse of a person's unconscious genius, and that it complements and completes. The rituals associated with the other are longing, passion, challenge, and union. It's going to be heavily influenced by the unconscious momentum powers, and the power that it has is greater than that of the Daryu apparatus and Mazut, but it's still beholden to the authority of the Mazut because it's designed to.
You mean that press?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's not what I said.
You
what
said
I say, Mazut.
Yep.
Yeah, I meant apparatus. It's still beholden to the righteous authority of the apparatus. Because what the heck? No, because it's meant to bring fulfillment and union of opposites when the chosen one's doing their job. They should be.
All right, Mitchell, if you're up next with the first ritual, which is ritual of longing. What is the ritual of longing? What wisdom does it give, and what energy does it give?
All right. Well, the ritual of longing is the portal ritual for the other spirit form, as the apparatus hears the inspirational call to expand its horizons to include one's full heroic story. This gives the wisdom that comes from the awareness that one needs to be something greater than oneself. This gives energy in the form of a hungry drive to find true sustenance for the soul that can propel one forwards and upwards to where the higher spirits reside.
Cool. Any questions, let me know. Otherwise, when you're ready.
Sounds good. All right then. So longing is the portal ritual for the other spirit form in general, as one hears the inspirational call to expand the horizons of one's story. It gives the wisdom that one needs to be something greater than oneself, and it gives the energy of a kind of hungry drive to find true sustenance of the soul and to go where one's higher spirits reside.
Ben?
All right. So the ritual of longing is the portal ritual for the other spirit form, as the apparatus hears the inspirational call to expand its horizons beyond just its own story. So to include its full 8-power story. This provides the wisdom of the awareness of knowing that you need to grow beyond just yourself. Like, your story is more than just the apparatus. It's also, the other, and the other having your 4 unconscious powers. It means that the awareness of knowing that you need to be complete gives a great deal of wisdom of what you need to become. And this provides energy in the form of this hungry drive to find sustenance that will allow you to dialogue with your higher spirits.
Nice. All right. Ben, back to you. We're going to go with the yang. What is the ritual of challenge? What wisdom does it provide? What energy does it provide?
Ritual challenge is the yang ritual for the other spirit form, as the apparatus proactively takes charge, moving their heroic story towards elevated communing with their unconscious genius, their muse deity. This gives the wisdom that the other challenges one to rise to their full heroic potential because of the profound love and faith that the other has in the apparatus to act as the chosen one. This gives energy in the form of confidence that one's higher spirits will never be disappointed if one rises to the challenge of enacting their peak pathway and creating rare good with every fiber of their being, come what may. So the ritual challenge is the Yang ritual for the other spirit form, as the apparatus proactively takes charge of moving their heroic story to communing with their other, their muse deity. This provides the wisdom that the other will challenge the apparatus to rise to their full heroic potential. All right, I'm gonna read that second sentence again.
Yeah, you were there. You give the why that they do it. Why the other does it.
Yeah. So the ritual challenge is the Yang ritual for the other spirit form, as the apparatus takes their heroic story to a communing with their other spirit form, their muse deity. This provides the wisdom that the other will want the apparatus to rise to the challenge of enacting rise to the challenge of enacting their peak pathway successfully and essentially be as heroic as possible. Because of the great love and faith that the other has in the apparatus to act as the chosen one. This provides energy in the form of knowing that your higher spirits will never be disappointed in you if you put everything you've got into enacting your peak pathway and being the chosen one, no matter what you come up against.
Good. Mitchell?
All right. So the ritual of challenge is the Yang ritual for the other spirit form, wherein the apparatus sort of steers their story to elevated communion with, practically steers it to that elevated communion with the unconscious genius. The wisdom it provides is that the reason that the other challenges one in this way is because of the profound love and faith they have in the apparatus to act as the chosen one. Energy that it provides is the confidence that one's higher spirits will never be disappointed as long as the apparatus focuses on enacting the peak pathway and achieving greater good with every fiber of their being, come what may.
Bam. All right. Back to you, Ben. Is that right? No, it's you, Mitchell.
Yep.
So it is going to be the yin ritual.
That's good.
All right, let's do it. What is the ritual passion? What wisdom does it provide? What energy does it provide?
So the ritual of passion is the yin ritual for the other spirit form, as the apparatus reactively gives over control of the heroic storyline so that the apparatus and the other can let the natural law of their innate inspirational intimacy take them for a pleasurable and provocative ride to higher ground. This gives the wisdom of being aware of what true ecstasy feels like so one can aspire to it again and again. This gives energy in the form of a healthy, heroic, and inspiring reward incentive for properly enacting one's role as the chosen one.
All right. So whenever you're ready.
All right. So the ritual of passion is the yin ritual for the other spirit form, and it's where the apparatus gives over control, so that the apparatus, other storylines, so that the apparatus and the other can let natural law take them for a provocative and pleasurable ride to higher ground. Gives the wisdom of what true ecstasy feels like, so that one can aspire to it again and again. And it gives the energy in the form of a healthy, heroic, inspiring reward incentive for the apparatus properly enacting its role as the chosen.
Good. Ben?
All right. All right, so the ritual of passion is the yin ritual for the other spirit form, as the apparatus reactively gives control over one's essentially peak pathway, right? I mean, or is that right? Trying to think of what the word was.
You give control of how the storylines unfolding.
Storylines unfolding. Is peak pathway like, because technically your peak pathway is just
well, there's two ways of looking at it. I mean, the heroic storyline and the peak pathway do pretty much overlap each other, but in this instance we're kind of talking about you are giving yourself over to the unconscious portion.
Oh, right, yeah,
of it.
That makes sense. You're taking like your conscious story and giving it over to your unconscious.
Well, you take the reins. The reins of it. You take the reins off, and you're going to allow the unconscious genius to bring you. But they bring you. For example, for us, our unconscious genius brings us Ni, Jai, Zi, and Bai. That's the way it brings us there. So we can't do it. We can't be in control of that. We have to agree to allow the other.
Yeah, it's sort of like a mutual dance or mutual control, I guess.
Yeah, and when it gets to that side of it, the Ni Jai is the driver. We're more of a passenger.
Okay, cool.
We're active passenger and we engage with them, but
right, yeah.
But if we're in the Ni Jai part of the Nejez story, then the Ni Jai is taking lead, which is actually an adaptive form of leading, but it's still that is the lead, and we as the directive had to kind of allow that to happen.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so the ritual of passion is the yin ritual for the other spirit form, as the apparatus gives over control of their heroic story, so that they can have essentially a like passionate dance with their unconscious genius. This gives wisdom. This gives the wisdom of knowing what true ecstasy feels like, so one can aspire to it again and again. And this gives energy in the form of this gives energy in the form of God, I know it. I know it.
Passion dope. It is the built-in reward system.
Right. Right, that makes sense. So the ritual of passion is the yin ritual for the other spirit form, as the apparatus gives over control of their heroic story to their unconscious genius, their other, in order to go on a ride of passion. And this gives the wisdom of knowing what true ecstasy feels like, so they can aspire to it again and again. And this gives energy in the form of a reward incentive for enacting their role as the chosen one correctly.
Boom. All right. Last one for tonight. Although we have plenty of time, we had specifically agreed to do a certain amount tonight, so I actually don't want to deviate from that and throw Glenn off. So we'll go ahead and just finish up the other. We had planned, because last time we were taking more time to talk about it, but that's fine. In the future, next time we'll be doing
yeah, because like it's interesting, because like we could set goals and then sometimes we'll like hit them, sometimes like sometimes
Yeah, but
I don't know, because like the thing is like
we left plenty of time to cover the other. If you guys have any questions, we can talk as much as you guys want. But we are closing out the rituals pretty fast here, and that's fine. And that's the subject that was set for tonight, which is the other. So when we're done with that, we can call for tonight.
Okay.
So last one up. This goes to Ben. This will be Ritual of Union. What is it? What wisdom does it provide? What energy does it provide?
Is Mitchell still here?
I'm still here.
Okay, just make sure. The ritual of union is the apex ritual for the other spirit form, as the apparatus and the other come together in an inspirational union of opposites. This gives the wisdom that comes from having all 8 powers of the psyche communing together. This gives energy in the form of unfettered energetic flow through a person's entire peak pathway, and a profound inspirational and aspirational drive to return to the state of productive harmony with one's innate nature, as well as to move forward to non-duality. Interesting. So what does it mean to move forward to non-duality?
The mergings.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So
Shiny Baby and beyond.
Right.
Up to the Fumasta, you still feel like I'm talking to another spirit form. You know what I mean? You're talking to the Fumasta, you're talking to the other, talking to Daryu, talking to the Mazu.
So you sort of become one with all of your spirits,
Yeah.
essentially? Oh, cool.
And which is why it's called the mergings, because you don't really dialogue in that state. You just are.
Yeah.
It's a sense of oneness, which is not possible to be maintained indefinitely, because all the spirit forms, including the apparatus and which structure, is necessary for us to be the beautiful, awesome creatures that we are, these advanced Homo sapiens. But that's sort of where you return to. That's the pool of you, the all of you. But you have to merge into it. And so you basically have 3 major interactions: the Mazout out to the world, then the elevator where you can dialogue with higher spirits, and then merging.
Interesting. So Shiny Baby is essentially just a complete version of you that includes
Everything.
Apparatus, all your spirit forms.
Mm-hmm.
That's
all your
cool.
potentiality, all of you.
That's awesome.
And that's why if you keep continuing to merge, it'll then flow into the various social alchemies and the tribe of humanity, Gaia, infinite mystery, because basically natural law made us, and so that whole story is us. But the first beginning of merging, where you feel a sense of oneness, is a oneness with you, and then the oneness continues to oneness with everyone else and everything else.
Interesting.
So those mystics, over the years, have actually hit on this before. So humans have been doing this in meditation. In fact, the Bardo system of Tibetan meditation, it actually kind of captures this, that you have the first state where you're coming out of the world, the second state where you have these various entities, and the third state where you are basically merging. They train you actually to just get out of the worldly engagement, detach from that. They're very good at doing that. Meditate and detach from that. But then when you go in to the elevator, you skip everything. The Daryu, the other, and the Fumasta are basically just demons or distractions, depending on which version of Buddhism you're talking about. But basically, it's don't worry about that. So you basically should try to go out of that engagement, rush through the elevator and merge. Stay merging as long as you can. And then when you come out of merging, you just drop back down into the world without, again, dialoguing, and then try to return to the merge state as soon as you can, as soon as your next lunch break happens. But point is that this phenomenon has been studied. Mystics from around the world, anyone who's been meditating has been doing this.
Yep.
The three distinct stages. One is where you are engaged with the world, and you can also then step away from that. But there's the full engagement up to light engagement, and then once you fully disengage, your mind will wander. You're often told in meditation to actually don't let it wander, or just watch it wander, but don't go with it. No, actually, the wanderings are important. The wanderings is your elevator. That's
it's kind of weird in meditation rituals. They tell you to just to just force yourself to think about absolutely nothing. You know, it's like, but like, I mean, I understand, like, you're trying to, I mean, there's certain things you have to, like, it's good to quiet your mind so that you can open up dialogue, but you shouldn't, like,
it's a basic misconception.
You shouldn't force, the point isn't of clearing your mind isn't to force dialogue to stop. It's actually to make room for dialogue, right? So
correct.
That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's a basic premise that they have, which they'll have to adjust, which is qualia. Mm-hmm. And qualia is part of oneness, allness. That's important. It's critical we start talking spiritual stuff, because otherwise, most Buddhism has this. Things like Reiki healing that are offshoots of that, for example, also have this, which is the making oneself empty. You can make your instrument still. Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing. You can help understand what your instrument wants to do better by becoming still with it. You do not actually empty yourself of being that instrument. That never actually happens, but that's kind of taught. And so there's certain things that your qualia does that are seen as just being distractions or disquietations of the mind that should be meditated out of. But that's, like you said, that's not actually what happens. You actually become still so that your instrument can talk to you. So it's a stillness, not a nothingness. Important distinction. My mom did a lot of meditations. I'm pretty familiar with the ideas behind it. But anyway, most mystics who've done this, there's those three stages. The stage where you are in the world, then you are disengaged, but your mind is giving you things it doesn't give you when you're engaged in the world. That's the elevator. And then once you've gotten past it, and you do actually get past it, but you're supposed to actually dialogue the Daryu, work with it, go to the other, work with it, go to the Fumasta, work, very important, work with it, and then you earn the right to get that merging. Mm-hmm. Just going in and out, what they've actually done is they've kind of tapped, especially when people get stressed. I can understand the allure. You actually have a built-in mechanism, and Naiji and Zaini, for example, are very good at this, where they just detach and dismiss the world, and then you can, if you want to, you can play a game of trying to run through and just diving into the mergings and staying there without doing the elevator work. Because the reason you're supposed to merge is because you're being rewarded for that journey up and down. Mm-hmm. But meditation, the way it's actually trained, it sounds funny, it's actually an elaborate form of dope. Yeah. The way it's done, you're basically trying to get the incredible feeling of oneness and pure love that you get when you detach, go inside, go up the elevator and merge. But you're not trying to do any of the work up and down the elevator. That's the entire purpose of your being. So it's kind of like, some people take cigarettes to kind of like make the world okay for a while. Yeah, you can also meditate to basically make the world okay, but that's faux zen that way.
They just preach, not doing anything and then becoming enlightened.
Exactly. But you're merging a lot. You're not enacting your heroic peak pathway because you're not doing part of the elevator, but it does feel really good. Yeah. What I'm doing here is actually the latest and greatest understanding of this process. But actually, anyone around the world that has a tradition of meditation, from shamanic to prayer, to transcendental meditation, really to visualizing sports psychology that teach visualizing. They'll also kind of use these basic ways humans work.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is. It's very cool. So
Yeah.
I makes me feel better that we're not just totally like, oh, we're totally messed up. Humans have actually been doing, they've been making work in progress on this. It's just the Mojo phenomenon and then the elevator enlightenment stack. I think Mojo, social alchemy, and then the elevator enlightenment, those three things are going to help humans see other humans as other humans,
I mean,
do the exact same game. We're all playing the exact same game, although different states and nationalities and religions, they act like we're playing a different game, but we're not.
Yeah, it's interesting. When we were talking about it makes me feel better knowing that humans have actually been trying to work on this case. Because people in Typology Town, they would like call us like, oh, you're like a new age, cult group. I mean, they're basically trying to, they're essentially like recognizing that they have like some concept already of what we're doing,
right?
But they're just grouping us up they're just assigning us to a group in an unfair way, right?
Yeah. And actually, the word New Age gets like a bad rap and made fun of.
Yeah, I actually don't, have a problem.
I don't say it's a bad thing because
yeah,
I've known a lot of people who were into the New Age movement, and they were actually very impressive people. So to me, what New Age actually is truly, although it gets mocked, actually it's the future. New Age, I mean, there's a lot to it, but the short version of New Age, what is the New Age? The New Age is an age of consciousness where the entire planet is working on consciousness. Yeah. And so people make fun of the fact that New Agers, one of the things they're known for is they shop around. A little of Buddhism, a little Jungian psychology, a little of prayer, a little of this, a little sports psychology. And so that's made fun of, but that's the future. Just like people used to have different products for improving your consciousness and self-development, each country had their own way. Some people did chakras, some people did, everyone had their own little way of getting better. But now, even before the internet started, the world started becoming one place. And so it is common, and US is kind of known for this, but actually it's global now, is we want to know what's the best option. So if I want to eat really good food, do I want some Indian food tonight? Do I want some Chinese food? Do I want Italian? Do I want French? I know all these cuisines are there. And so you may have heard this term like called nouveau cuisine. It's basically referring to cuisine that is from a person or a palate that's worldly. It's used to the ingredients of Asia and the ingredients of South America. It's used to having hamburgers and tacos and pasta, and curry. And so that's nouveau. So really New Age is really just nouveau consciousness, which is basically people who are trying to study consciousness who have access, through books originally, and now, through cable and now internet, of what are humans doing? What are all the ways you can do consciousness? And trying to fuse. So really what Podler has done is what New Age has been trying to do for a while, is trying to fuse together a collection of best practices. But currently, they're still stuck in an argument because there isn't Mojo phenomenon, social alchemy, and the elevator to give like, this is what we all have to agree is happening. And then we can use various explanations because the chakra theory is
there's like various arguments about like which practices are better than others. I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly. So New Age, basically, it's a collection of best practices, which sounds great. And that's what Podler is. The difference between Podler and New Age, besides the many discoveries we've made, is that it is synthesized. It is synergized. They are still actually, everyone has their own cocktail. Every person basically takes and leaves whatever they want. Take or leave prayer, take or leave chakras, take or leave meditation, take or leave personality types, take or leave. And so the problem is there's certain things that aren't take or leave. The Mojo phenomenon is not optional, kind of like blood types and fingerprinting and DNA. These are not options. So, you know what I mean? In New Age tends to embrace science and spirituality, which is one of the things that's really cool about it. But they're still arguing over what is the true stuff. And so basically every New Ager, one of the things that they're proud of, they actually have to get past this pride. They'll have to get past this pride. New Agers pride themselves that every single one has their own set. their own collection of, I took a little Hinduism, I took a little of this, and this is mine. So in Podler, we allow for that, right? We have Podler Christianity, Podler everything. So we allow for that while it's still Podler, which means there's certain givens which are immutable. And there are, certain New Agers that would probably, for example, recoil from the scientific, say, rigor and also the implications that, oh, you're an IG or a Zini or whatever, and your opinion, because they can choose what they want, they have a very large attachment to their personal opinion on what spirituality is. So it's good because New Agers, New Agers is our market. They actually are aware of all the products, and they're not married to any of them. They like to shop around. So that's great. So they're used to seeing lots of different models.
That seems like a good bubble for us to target then.
It's a great bubble. So the only thing is we're going to have to bring in the third element, which is there are some givens.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that they kind of resist. Everyone has their own set of givens. That's the one thing New Agers kind of get made fun of is, well, two things. One, that they have their own set of givens, not that there are no absolute givens, and there are absolute givens, and that they take one thing and then drop it. I did chakras for a few years, and I stopped, and then I did this, and so they're kind of known as being like, serial monogamists. They're like serial monogamists with different ways of thinking. So they're kind of known for not accepting absolute givens and for not sticking with anything diligently enough to to become.
Yeah, it's just seen as like a hipster thing or something.
Yeah, a hipster thing. Exactly.
Yeah, they're just trying to be different than everyone else. So,
although they do possess one trait, like I said, we're going to have to temper it with some absolute givens they'll have to accept. But they do have a good thing, and that good thing is ego. Like I said, we're going to have to give them givens their egos will have to deal with. But they have shrugged off what a lot of people can't, that the ego of the religion they were born in is more important than theirs. Now, you don't go too far, but actually, we know, being Naiji, for example, it is important to have an ego sufficient that even though I was raised on this for 18 years, my parents are raised on it for decades, that doesn't mean I have to take it. I can pick something else. So they have, New Agers have that ego. Like I said, that ego will need to be managed into accepting, the world's round, for example. They've accepted that, but they may not have accepted, they tend to be more educated in a lot of ways, but they often don't like to be told there are immutables about their being that they don't have a say in, and there aren't. I mean, there are some of those, you know what I mean? So but overall, that will be a rich area for us. New Agers and atheists are actually probably the people that are up our alley.
Atheists in some ways.
Next, insist I say this, very important. And third, reformists. Any model that's out there now, even monotheism and things like that, actually can be Podler, but they'll have to be reformed by definition. So reformers. So New Agers, atheists, I'll say atheists, I'll say free thinkers. So,
I think a lot of atheists.
Free thinkers more broad, but basically New Agers, free thinkers, and reformers.
Right. I think we'll have some trouble. I mean, there's a lot of good things about atheists that will be useful, but there's obviously a lot of challenges we'll have to get past.
Right,
as well.
Because they tend to be very anti-spirituality. Yeah. But not all of them, which is why I actually think I prefer the term free thinker. In fact, there is actually a famous atheist who doesn't like the term atheist. Forget which one it is. And the reason is he said he sees himself more as a free thinker because he also doesn't believe in a lot of dumb theories. But he doesn't say he's anti, he doesn't define himself as like, I don't believe in flat world theory. Do you mean like if you ask him what he is, he doesn't give you a name that means that. I mean, I don't define
my talk on that.
What's that? I'm sorry, Mitchell?
Sam Harris had a talk on that about how
that's what it was. Thank you. I agree. So I'd say free thinkers is better.
I think sort of people who are into like psychedelics and stuff might be pretty good demographic as well, because they're all like many of them are all about like they're taking this drug to become enlightened, and like because it changes your perspective about reality.
Right. That group is actually a subgroup of New Agers in a lot of ways. They're often called psychonauts.
Yeah.
And basically, it doesn't have to be psychedelic substances, although often it can be. But they also do meditation. They also do sensory deprivation. They do fasting. And the idea is that they do understand that there's some kind of elevator of enlightenment there, and they're trying to get in touch with it. They're trying to do rides. They do rides, and a lot of like Timothy Leary, for example, they do these rides and write down, they journal the psychic rides they take.
Nice.
But it doesn't have to be psychedelic substances to do it. It can be anything.
Yeah, maybe they have like
that kind of psychedelic ride.
Yeah, maybe they're into dreams or something, and they do a spiritual ritual every night that allows them to experience their dreams, and then they write them down. That's another example. That'd be pretty cool to do at some point, because I don't know, like I feel like that has a lot of advantages, because like experiencing, because I feel like I'd rather be aware of my dreams than not aware of them. But I don't know, there's certain advantages to just like sleeping through the night, because dreams can be kind of rough sometimes, but at the same time they can be very insightful as well. So
yeah, I think it'd be fun. We're all L10. We're doing our own stuff for fun. We have some certain theme things we do together sometimes. I think one would be like, maybe take a little period where like for a month or so, we all try to like dream journal or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because people have found some really impressive methods for being able to do that. Like I think you can eventually get to the point where if you ritualize it correctly, you can like almost every night, have like a different dream every night. Yeah. So,
it's true.
So it's sort of like you have like another.
Back in the day.
Oh, you did that back in the day?
Yeah, I've done fasting and a bunch of different things several times throughout my life. I've gotten into them. I found them to be practices that are best done periodically. Like the dream journaling. It's very good to glean in a way you don't normally, but if you do it too much, I feel it inhibits the natural flow of it. It reminds me a bit of, you guys know, from like that natural kind of like visioning and ranting you get into in that real raw state. If you try to write it down too much, it stops the flow. For example, I get an idea. This is a simple example. If you dream journal, you'll know what you dreamed each night, right? But it can slow down the percolation process. So if you say on night one, journal it, it will affect the way the next one comes. And I found repeatedly, I've done this many times, that being aware of what's going on in the dream overly can actually inhibit the next iterations of it. A lot of times, you'll get the first iteration of a dream on night one, and you may have multiple iterations of it over the course of a week, 2 weeks, a month. And that needs to happen in order to get it or get past it or whatever. And if you journal it too much, actually it can make you a little stiff. Does that make sense? It's good to do it for a while. I think maybe Mitchell, something like tennis. It's good to take notes on your performance. And at some points, you really take a lot of notes. You may watch a lot of film on yourself, but you don't do it all the time. It makes you a little uptight to constantly watch film on yourself or to constantly write notes about your performance. It's very good to do for periods of time, but I don't know if I think it's a good idea to do forever, because I found one thing would happen is that new dreams would be less likely to come in. It's almost like my psyche is like, oh, you're taking notes on this, we'll keep giving you iterations, where actually if I wasn't taking notes, they might change me to a whole nother movie. That happens a lot. As long as I'm taking notes on this movie, they often just keep giving me new iterations of that movie, which is good because I can get really into it. I can actually see a lot of differences between one version of that film or to another, but it does slow down you going to the next feature. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What if you like stop taking notes for a while, but you're still keeping yourself, and you just write, take notes every time there's a new dream. What if you did that? Like you're still just as aware.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do a lot now. I don't. There's another thing too is that sometimes your dreams are there's guidance that comes from dreams. This is another thing too, and there's also processing that comes from dreams. So sometimes you need to process more than you need guidance. You need to internalize. You need to exert. You need to have cathartic releases. Actually notating them gets in the way. If, for example, you need to just be beaten on, you kind of just need to get beaten on and allow the psyche to get the lesson. Notating the process can make it, can focus too much on understanding when it also needs to be about processing. Does that make sense? Your dreams, they help you understand, but they also help you process, and they're actually kind of two different feeds. I found that when you do more notating, that you increase the amount of understanding of your dreams you have, but you slow down the processing of them. That's the principle. The more notes you take, the more awareness you have about the dream, it will increase your understanding of it, of what's being given to you, but not you processing it. A lot of times the processing of it, I've woken up and I could feel, whoa, I processed a lot last night. I don't remember anything, but I can feel, whoo, I went through like a workout. And I've noticed that there's actually definitely like a juxtaposition there between how much I understand versus how much of it I internalize. Internalizing, maybe it has to do with the towers versus the articulators. Internalizing doesn't respond well to note-taking. I don't know why that is. Whereas understanding does. Understanding something, getting your head around it, responds well to note-taking. So anyway, but yeah. But just, you know, one thing I found, having done it many times in my life where I got more into it, my mind does think differently now and always has. I think you'll appreciate that. If you do one intense stretch of dream journaling or fasting or several things like that, intense meditation, you'll find that your mind, even though you're not still doing that degree of fasting or meditation or whatever, that your psyche works differently, kind of like a language, and now knows a way of itself that it didn't before. So I would definitely advocate you do some intense dream journaling for some period in your life. I think you'll definitely find it rewarding. I've found it rewarding to do it multiple times, but I've also found that usually after a period of time, I'm like,
you get like diminishing returns from
you get diminishing returns.
Bam. And you find it more effective to just like, because one concept I had was like you don't really stop doing it, like you do it every time there's a new one, but on other nights when it's not new, when it's like a rerun or it's like something similar, you just don't journal it.
I like that as a general principle. Mine's a little bit different. But maybe it's because
I haven't done it before, so this is complete theoretical.
No, but it could also be because I've done them before, so I have a different take on it, which is that I now know I can do that. And so anytime it feels right, I do it. That's kind of going now. My psyche will tell me, you guys know, you're around, there are periods of time where I will go into isolation, periods of time where I will do fasting. You know, so I do those kinds of things. And sometimes I feel like I need to walk a lot. I need to walk all day today. And since I've done those various things in my life, I know when the urge is on me. So there's a certain urge I get when I want to take more note of my dreams. And at this point, I let my spirits tell me if they want me to do dream journaling, if they want me to meditate, if they want me to rant, if you know, and so I kind of let them push on me. But to know that that's what they're pushing on, at least once in your life, I'd advocate once to a few times, do it intense for like a month or more, really get into it. And that way, you know that feeling, so that whenever your spirits are like, ooh, I think the chosen one needs to do dream journaling, they'll give you that vibe like when you were really into dream journaling a few years ago. You're like, oh, they want me to do that again.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Yeah, I would definitely dream journaling. I would do meditation. I would do fasting, and I would do very long walks out in nature. There's some other things you can try as well, but those 4 for sure. I found that every now and then I'm feeling a certain urge, and I do it, and my spirit's like, yeah, do that, and it helps.
I really like walking out in nature. It's so much. It just feels so good. Like, it doesn't matter what season it is. I just love nature.
Definitely. So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, when you do it, I would do it for like a month at least. I say 1 to 3 months, and really get into it to allow yourself to feel like, what is it like to go for a long walk every day for a month? It does.
About how long do you think typically what would qualify as a long walk? I guess maybe like
if it was me, I would do it like, say, where it's at least 2 miles. It's a minimum of a mile, but what you look for is look for places you want to walk. Make a list of 30 or more places that you would be interested in walking, and then each day go to a different one. And your mind revolves around, today I'm going to walk in that park. Today I'm going to walk in that deserted area. Today, and so it does put you in a trippy headspace.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that area is like teaching you something different, you know, because like you walk somewhere, it's like there's a lesson to teach. It's a spirit form. There's a lesson that area can teach you.
Very good.
Location.
Day is a lesson, but what I'm emphasizing here is once you can do that correctly one day, being able to do it for 30 days, it's another ritual to do it that long. It becomes like a part of your way. Oh, there's a 5th one for sure, which is odd hours. Try actually odd hours for a month. I'm sure you've probably done it already on a summer vacation where you were in a different headspace because for some reason your parents were allowed you to sleep whenever, and you kind of got in this different sleep schedule. So
having an odd hour sleep schedule, basically.
Yeah, and allowing it to be a natural odd sleep schedule for like a month or more.
Oh yeah, I've done that. I've done every sleep schedule.
For sure.
And I've done it regularly too. Like
meditating every day for a month is good. Fasting every day for a month, and you don't have to like just no food at all. You can do like juice or whatever, but something that's very different and healthy for a month. And like I said, the long walks. I think I mentioned meditation already, but anyway, they really help to kind of unlock you. And then your spirit, once you do that, especially if you have more than one, when your spirits need to talk to you, you'll find they'll tap you on the shoulder with which method would be the best one. And that's why I tell you, like, I don't like to do it overly, because it's almost like I'm telling my spirits, we're doing dream journaling. I like my spirits to tell me if we're doing dream journaling this month, we're doing something else, and they're always wisest about that. And the experience is always better. If my spirits are urging me to dream journal, it's better. However, you kind of have to do 1 month of it intensely to get the feel for it, to know if that's how they're tapping you. That makes sense?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna mention on odd hours, like my favorite, like a really good. It feels really good to just go to bed at like dawn, like right when the light is coming out.
It's true.
That just feels so good. It's like that's like for it, like to me that's like the best time.
And it's so different than the rest of the world, and particularly the way you normally are doing it. It really is a nice quasi state to be in.
Yeah, because that's like your signal to go to bed. Like the lights come out, people are starting to get up. Oh, time to go to sleep. It's like
nice.
And it's like a nice signal to end your day, and also it's just such an effective time to go to sleep, because that basically causes you to avoid like as much, well, not as much, well, yeah, basically as much daylight as possible, and at a key moment when it's still like the day hasn't quite taken off yet. So it's
so we should get back here real quick, but I'll just kind of finish with this one thing. The dream journaling sounds great. There's a lot of other ones we can try. I look forward to kind of experimenting with you guys on it. I would just remember this: those are all methodologies to help your way. They're not the way. Very important you don't become a dream journalist, a meditator. You're always a Naiji peaking, and then these methods can serve you in that purpose.
Oh, and also you can combine I also like walking outside at night, like sort of you could do like long walks at night. In some ways that might be slightly,
I like that a lot.
Yeah, because I don't know, I just really enjoy walking outside at night. That's like my favorite time to walk outside.
Definitely. Oh, there's another one too that's kind of cool. It may not be that unusual for some people. I've been an urban person most of my life. Maybe you guys have as well. Because of that, if you can take a month where you actually are going to be spending like an hour or more with an animal every day, that can also put you in another headspace too.
That's cool.
Okay, but where are we with Union?
Oh yeah, I'm working on that.
All right.
So I'll just well, Mitchell and I will get this one done, and then we can sign out.
Sounds good. That was cool. That was a good conversation there.
Yeah, it was a great conversation.
And I'm excited. We're all L10. All the kind of cool stuff we'll experiment and share with each other. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Yeah, because we can do our own like voicing at that point, so we can sort of like vlog about what we want to, any experiences we're having.
Definitely.
Charlene is singing in the background.
Yes. I'll put mute. I like it a lot. It puts a lot of good energy in the atmosphere.
It does. So the ritual of union is the apex ritual for the other spirit form, as the apparatus and the other come together in essentially one union of opposites. This gives wisdom in the form of essentially knowing what it's like to be, to have one's 8-power storyline to come together and be whole. And this gives energy in the form of that complete, unfettered energetic flow, as well as an inspirational and aspirational drive to return to that state of productive harmony with one's entire 8-power storyline, as well as the desire to want to merge to non-duality.
Boom, got it. Mitchell, take it down.
All right. So the ritual of union is the apex ritual for the other spirit form, and it's the apparatus and the other forming an inspirational union of opposites. this gives the wisdom of all 8 powers communing within the storyline, and it gives the energy of an unfettered flow in one's peak pathway, an inspirational and aspirational desire to return to this state of proactive harmony, and there's one more thing. Oh yeah, and a desire to move forward to non-duality from there.
Boom. Nicely done. Kush. The other spirit form. Cool.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Got that. And then Mitchell, you and I will meet up tomorrow and catch up.
Yeah, although Glenn also asked if he could meet with you tomorrow.
That's fine. I will get in. Come on after you.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, guys. I'll see you on Sunday then.
All right. It's been great. Have a good night, guys.
Great conversation, guys. Night.